Hi, I'm attorney Ben Schwartz, and on today's episode of Ask the Accident Attorney, we're going to answer a question from Beth in Middletown, Delaware. Beth asks, I was involved in a car accident and I did not call the police. Did I do something wrong? And there's actually a Delaware law that pertains to this particular topic. The Delaware law is Title 21 of the Delaware Code, Section 4201, subsection A. And essentially, to boil down what it says that if you're involved in a motor vehicle accident, a car accident, and there's apparent damage to there could be apparent damage to your vehicle, you have to stop. You have to ascertain whether anyone was injured or killed. If no one was injured, no one was killed, and nobody else's property was damaged, and there's no damage to the environment, like there's no mailbox that got run over or telephone pole that got damaged, the only damage is to your own vehicle, you can leave the scene of the accident without calling the police. Again, this is Title 21, Section 4201, subsection A of the Delaware Code, and we'll include a link to that statute in the show notes. But essentially, what I want to tell you is not what the law is. I want to tell you my perspective as a personal injury lawyer, as a car accident attorney. My perspective is that anytime you're involved in an accident where someone else is at fault or someone else could be at fault, you should call the police and get a police report done. And the reason for that is because even in a minor car accident, the police, generally speaking, are trained on documenting the facts of the accident, recording witness information, diagramming the accident, and coming to conclusions on who was at fault. And so even if you don't think you're injured or you don't think you're seriously injured, even if the property damage isn't completely significant, you still ought to call the police and report the accident, have them come out and do a police report if they're available and willing to do it. And that way, essentially what I'm saying is you're documenting things so that if you have to be involved in a legal case or an insurance claim, and you find that the insurance company fights the claim, and that happens whenever the insurance company sees an opportunity to fight the claim, then at least you've got the documentation that you need to support your claim. So I'm attorney Ben Schwartz. I can tell you what the law is. I can tell you what you really ought to do. Basically, even if you decide it's not worth the time to call the police and get them to come out and do an accident report, even if you decide that you're not going to follow my advice, I want to tell you another thing, and that is get the driver's license of the at-fault driver and take a picture of it with your camera phone. Get the insurance card and the registration card from the at-fault driver and take a picture of it with your camera phone. Go to the back of their vehicle after it's been cleared from the roadway and you're not in danger. Go to the back of their vehicle and take a picture of their tag. And that way you're documenting who they were and who their insurance company is. And that way, if it later turns out that you did sustain injuries in the accident, or if it later turns out that you need to make a claim against their insurance company to get your car fixed, at least you've got documentation of who caused the accident, who that person was. Without that basic minimum information, there's not a whole lot, in a lot of these cases, there's not a whole lot for an attorney to do for you. If you're in an accident and you fail to document who the at-fault driver was, you can't make a claim against someone else's insurance company if you don't know who they are. So these are my tips. My preference is anytime you have a car accident where you think there's a possibility that you may need to make an insurance claim or a legal claim, call the cops, let them come out and investigate and do a proper report. And if you don't do that, or you can't do that, or they refuse to come out because they're understaffed and they've got actual crimes that they need to attend to, then follow my advice and get your camera phone out and take a picture of the driver's license, the person who hit you, their insurance card, their vehicle registration, and the tag on their car. I'm attorney Ben Schwartz. Hope you found this informative. Hopefully it's helpful information for you. If you have a question about car accidents, personal injury claims, insurance claims, or civil litigation in general, please feel free to ask your question. You can send me an email. My email address is ben.schwartz@schwartzandschwartz.com. You can also go on our law firm's Facebook page. The Facebook address is facebook.com/schwartzandschwartz. Give us a comment or question there, or send us a message through that page.